¿Qué pasó, güey? It's your homeboy Quetzalcoatl. Welcome back to the Fuck Your Life Boxing Show. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the immediate and long-term future of Canelo Alvarez. As you know, Canelo Alvarez is coming off of participating in the pay-per-view event entitled The One, where he fought Floyd Mayweather. Major props to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Made that fight look easy. Completely nullified Canelo's power, took his power away. Now granted, it wasn't the most exciting fight to watch, but what a great display of skill by Floyd Mayweather Jr. Canelo tried to outbox Mayweather in that fight, and that pretty much was his biggest mistake. Me personally, I as I mentioned in the prediction, I thought, and what Canelo should have done is he should have been more aggressive, far more aggressive than he was in the fight. I think he should have tried to get on the inside versus Floyd Mayweather. That was the only way really to be competitive against Floyd Mayweather. And a lot of people have said that's not the type of fighter Canelo is. Canelo is more of a boxer than an aggressive inside fighter. But what separates good fighters from great fighters is that great fighters are able to adapt. You know, you're not going to be able to beat every single fighter the same way, and you're going to have problems with certain styles and certain fighters. And in those moments, great fighters are able to adapt and change their game plan, as you've seen Floyd Mayweather do on various occasions. You saw that Canelo was never really hurt by Floyd Mayweather in this fight. He was never seriously hurt. I mean, he got completely outclassed, don't get me wrong, but Mayweather's punches weren't really hurting him, and I to me, I thought that would be somewhat of a confidence boost or some type of motivational factor for Canelo Alvarez to be more aggressive. You know, he knew that the punches weren't hurting him that bad. I thought that would motivate him to get on the inside and be willing to take 2 or 3 shots to land one big shot. But I mean, he didn't even attempt to do that, and pretty much by the 9th round, it almost looked like he just wanted to get the whole thing over with. I mean, he was very frustrated. Mayweather put on a masterful performance, and Canelo, you know, while he didn't get knocked out, I mean, he looked exposed. You know, a lot of people were hyping him up. I was giving him his credit for the times that he had fought well in the victories that he had acquired. But, you know, a lot of people were saying that he was going to be, you know, what the pay-per-view was entitled, he was going to be the one. And that didn't happen. There was no passing of the torch. And that's what a lot of people were expecting in this fight. And what it basically comes down to is Canelo's game plan. It was all wrong. If you saw a couple of days after the fight, there was a meme that came out about Oscar de la Hoya, because, you know, Oscar de la Hoya was talking about that he gave Canelo the blueprint to beat Mayweather. You know, he was like, yes, I gave him the blueprint. I opened up the vault and I gave it to him. And so, you know, apparently Oscar de la Hoya had some sort of mythical vault where he hides all his game plans in. The meme had said something along the lines like, I gave Canelo the wrong blueprint. I was high. That shit was hilarious. And it's actually based on the true story. As you know, Oscar de la Hoya is currently in rehab. He entered rehab a little bit before the fight. And basically what went down was Oscar de la Hoya was opening up that mythical blueprint. I mean, that mythical blueprint, goddamn. Gotta stop smoking with Jesus. He was opening up that mythical vault that he has. And in this metaphorical vault, you know, he was sifting through the blueprints and shit. He was moving them around. He moved the Vargas one, moved the Ike Cortez to the side. And when he moved the Vargas one a little bit more, over to the left side, it was a fucking brick of cocaine under that motherfucker. He was like, oh shit. He done found some coke in the vault. Shit, he went like on a 3-day binge and shit. He fucked that whole brick up. That motherfucker was just like. He was hyped up and shit. And Canelo had finally come to pick up the motherfucking blueprint. And Oscar De La Hoya was fucking laid out and shit with some high heels on. And Canelo was like, hey man, where's the motherfucking blueprint? And Oscar De La Hoya got up and shit. He was kind of hungover too. He was like, oh shit. Oh yeah, let me open up my vault, eh? Went ahead, he opened up the vault and shit. The only problem was he was so fucked up, he grabbed the first shit he saw up in there and he gave it to Canelo. Canelo got home. He opened up that motherfucking blueprint. It wasn't no goddamn blueprint. It was a fucking poster of Oscar De La Hoya dressed as a goddamn woman. Canelo was like, Oscar, you fucking cokehead. And that's basically what happened. Canelo went out there with no game plan. And Oscar De La Hoya, man, I hope you doing better, man. But shit, you fucking up, dog. I mean, I hope you get through this shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to wish any bad things on anybody, but damn, it's like you got all the money in the world, bro. You got fame, fortune, all that. Why you want to throw this shit away to get coked out, homie? I don't know. Maybe you in rehab for the cross dressing or some shit. I don't know though. Which one is it? But either way, man, get it together, homie. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Canelo goes, as I said, this fight really hurt Canelo's image. I think he was exposed to a certain extent. He was exposed as not being like this next legendary superstar, as a lot of hardcore Canelo fans have made him out to be. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Canelo. I think he has a good style, but I think he was overhyped a bit than what type of fighter he really is at the present time. And as I said, he was completely shut out. That really made him look bad. Now Canelo really has to step up, and he has to prove to people that he is a potential future superstar. This was the fight to prove whether Mayweather was gonna pass on that torch to him, so Canelo could be the next cash cow, and he obviously failed that test. So now he has to prove himself by fighting top legitimate competition in his weight class, and probably a weight class above at middleweight. That's how he's gonna prove that he's a superstar now, because he couldn't do it beating Mayweather, and I doubt that there will be a rematch in the near future, because for one, it might not sell as well because people are going to be expecting the same performance, and two, Canelo might not want a rematch at this time. He probably needs a little bit more experience to even make it competitive. But there's options for Canelo if he wants to regain some of the image that he lost from that fight. I mean, right off the bat, he could fight Erislandy Lara. That would be a good fight to get him back on track. At the same time, though, because he's coming off of a bad loss, Golden Boy is really gonna have to match him up well in this next fight, because it's mandatory that he gets a victory, because if he loses back to back, I mean, it's really gonna hurt Golden Boy as far as Canelo being their cash cow. Canelo has to look really good in this next fight, so a lot of that would be somewhat of a risk. But I mean, there's other names. I mean, if he wants to fight someone that's not too much of a risk, but is a good name to have on your resume, and somebody that a lot of casual boxing fans would go and see that fight, is a fight versus Perro Angulo. Perro Angulo is an exciting fighter. Somebody who has a cult following. Not too much of a risk for Canelo. That would be a good fight as his comeback. There's a if he wants to have a championship fight, he could possibly be matched up against recent champion Carlos Molina. And He could fight Miguel Cotto if Miguel Cotto can have a victory in this fight coming up. If somehow, some way they could find James Kirkland, I don't know what happened to James Kirkland. If you've seen him, notify the authorities. But I mean, if they could find James Kirkland, that would be a great fight. Speaking of, where have people been? Have y'all seen Antonio Tarver? What happened, man? Dude had the Showtime thing, and he had the fights. I know he got the steroid thing, but damn, what happened to him? What happened to Panchito Hojado? That motherfucker been missing for years, man. I think aliens abducted that motherfucker, man. The Alpha Centaurians, Draconians, one of them motherfuckers. Hey, y'all, man, give Panchito Hojado back, man. Y'all done tortured that motherfucker enough, man. Give him back. But I mean, the fights are there. He can move up in weight. He could fight Peter Quillen. That'd be a great fight. He could fight Triple G. Motherfucking Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. called his ass out. I doubt that they'd be able to make that fight at 160 anytime soon, because Chavez looking big as fuck. So I don't know, but there's definitely a whole lot of other names for Canelo to prove himself. But definitely he's gonna have to win his next fight, and he's gonna have to have consecutive big victories in order to prove that he's a superstar. Because right now it's not looking good for him. He got completely shut out. Mad props to Floyd Mayweather. I will be dropping a video on what Floyd Mayweather's immediate and long-term future is, as well as what this victory means for his legacy. I'll be dropping that in a couple of hours. And as always, if you like this shit, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This is your homeboy Quetzalcoatl, signing the fuck on out.